Hello, everybody. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. We're going to take a look at our weather. A few clouds drifting across the valley. Big time changes are in the offing as we close out the work week. All of that's coming up in your forecast. It all begins right now.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, and as is always the case, I sure appreciate you. I appreciate my fine sponsors. Drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always wonderful to have a conversation with you. We're going to talk about our weather, and in this update, we're going to look at a couple of other extra things. Number one, big time changes in the storm track mean we could be in for a series of wintry events and maybe a spring-like storm system as we go through the next 7 to 12 days across the valley. I'll show you the latest and the models on that. We're going to have a look across some incredible weather across the nation today. If you didn't get a chance to see that, I had an update a little bit earlier regarding that on my YouTube channel, so you can go check that out later. But we'll give you some bonus coverage of what's happening right now here live. Bring your questions. That's what makes Hutch's weather fun. I got to pass this information along as well. My fine sponsors over at Robert Gibb and Sons. Hey, time's running out on that water heater deal I've been telling you about. Make sure you give them a call. If you've been thinking at all about upgrading your home heating and air conditioning system to a new Bryant one, they're going to throw in the water heater for free. So I'll put a link in the comments below when we're done here so that you have contact information with regards to my friends over there at Robert Gibb and Sons. Hi, Nathan. Good to see you on board. Let's take a look at what's going on right now across the area. Let's get started with that first. And again, thanks for your support. Now, check out the radar as we check out what's going on here in our area. And we have temperatures that have slipped and dipped right into the 30s. Now, it was in the 30s for the better part of the day for you in the Minot area, as well as the Devil's Lake Basin. 39, though, now in Cooperstown, 36 in Carrington. Temperatures were lovely today in Fargo-Moorhead. We're back down to around 39 to 40 degrees here. 41 for Babe the Blue Ox. Whoops, let me make sure that's right. Out in the Bemidji area, 37 for you, Babe the Blue Ox, out there in Bemidji. 39 in Waskish. Mahnomen, 38 this hour. Radar showing a little bit of sprinklage up here in the Thief River Falls area and parts of southern Marshall County, Minnesota. Darlene, beautiful. Thank you so very much for sharing stars. You're supporting Hutch's weather. You're supporting the advancement of Hutch's weather. And I'm going to be having some very exciting announcements in the near future. So keep holding tight for that. Sandra watching from beautiful New York Mills, Minnesota. Okay, a few sprinkles on Highway 59 north of the Thief River area showing up. Other than that, it looks fairly quiet. Fergus, you have 41 degrees, and we have a north wind out there that's, 5 to 15 miles per hour, but we have some wind in the forecast and some big-time changes as well. Now, here's what we're talking about for tomorrow morning. Temperatures that'll generally be right around 30 degrees, even up north, but look at the wind speeds, 12 to 25 miles per hour. Milder down south as we start in the 30s to get our Friday going, and it looks fabulous once again. Howdy, says Ben from North Fargo. Good to see you, sir. I hope you're doing well. Tomorrow, have extra hairspray. Ben, I'm going to warn you right now. Darlene, you as well. Make sure that you have the hairdo taken care of out there, because there's going to be some gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour here in the valley. A few gusts higher than that. Cooler up north, but because the wind has a westerly component to it, look at these 50s and 60s spreading eastward. Another beautiful day. Grand Forks joining the ranks of the 50s, 51 Thief River Falls. There'll be enough of a wind out there where we could have a little bit of a fire hazard out there as well. So be cautious of any burning you might be taking part in. West-northwesterly winds gusting over 35 miles per hour. This time of the year, that vegetation starts, it's already dead and it's dry, and, fires can spread quickly. Now, late in the day, did you see this? A hint. Showers possible, northwest Minnesota. Let's show you the latest in the forecast model on this, and then we'll look ahead. Hi, Paula Stone. Good to have you on board from beautiful Dilworth, Minnesota. Planning forecast. 56 in Fargo, down to the 30s the next couple of days. Weather wiggle on Friday night and into Saturday. I'll go over the details on that. Then, as we glide a little bit farther in time, I do anticipate we're going to see some, some wild weather working its way in that keeps us cool to start the work week. Now it's going to head into a Tuesday with a warm front moving in for the first day of spring. That is your vernal equinox. Equal sun, equal night, 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness globally. Well, for the most part, minus things like terrain and stuff like that. And then look at this, big time changes, a trend towards a much wilder weather pattern on Wednesday. That's right, wild weather Wednesday. Next week, we'll have some rain showers for some. Then the cold air moves its way in, and we'll have not one, but maybe up to three chances of snow going through on the extended forecast. But let's take a look at what you could expect with regards to the forecast model. I'm going to do that right now. And take a look at this. Now, as we go through the night tonight, we do have a slight chance at seeing a couple of sprinkles work their way in. Here, let me pause this. So the clouds will yield maybe a spit or two, nothing too substantial, but the wind sweeps it out of here fairly quickly. Remember, those winds now 15 to 25 miles per hour overnight. Now, as we rock through your forecast tomorrow, notice this, quiet on the radar until, do you see that? The drive time home. Up here in the Northland of Minnesota, well, I got to tell you, there's going to be a chance of some wet rain up there. And wet rain ushered in by a very gusty northerly component to the wind heading into our Saturday. That means north wind will cool temperatures off. We'll have passing showers of rain, nothing too heavy. And look at this, that nonsense up here, those little blue things, that's flakes. Fast, fastidiously flying flakes of frosty goodness. Paula Stone, thank you so very much for sharing stars with Hutch. Phyllis says, wish Hutch was back on TV. You know what? I sure like visiting with the weather, and I think this gives us an opportunity, Phyllis, to visit more about your questions with the weather. So it's an interactive experience here, and I sure as heck have enjoyed it as we go through. So again, Phyllis, if you have a question, any of you have a question about the weather, feel free to ask me. Now, as we go through your Saturday, look at this. Passing showers of snow, wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour. I don't think we'll have a lot in the way of accumulation, but look at these bands. Do you see these lines of snow that kind of persist in one area? If those do set up, we could have some areas that get a surprising shot of flakiness out there. So watch for slippery roads on Saturday. It's not going to be overly widespread and it's not going to be overly heavy, but if those bands are persistent in one area for any length of time, we could see some flaky nonsense. Remember, Hutch says, don't put away the shovel, don't put away the shovel wax, and make sure the snowmobiles, let's go with snow blowers, are ready for service as we head into next week. All right, set checking any questions? No. Okay, I got an announcement to make. You may have seen this earlier, but for those of you tuning in right now, if you're in your local grocery store in the Fargo area, you may want to check in on the newsstands there, because some awesome monthly magazine, Fargo Monthly, interviewed some wild weather turkey. Look at that guy right there. Pick up a copy today. They did an outstanding job. It was fun visiting with them about my plans, and I hope you get a chance to pick it up, read it. Let me know what you think. Again, the Fargo Monthly. I'll put a link when we're all done here in the comments as well, where you can find a copy online if you happen to live outside of the FM area. Val, thank you so much for sharing stars. Now, on to the bonus coverage. Yeah, Paula, I said the S word. It's 4 letters, starts with S, and nobody likes to hear this. But yeah, snow. Thanks so much, Michael Vaughn. It's good to talk to you. I hope you are doing well. Now, let's take a look at this forecast trend going ahead. I'm going to start with a look at the European model. Now, the European model is what Hutch relies on a little bit more heavily when it comes to beyond 5 days. This model shows a storm system that's working its way through the Central Plains, and the bonus coverage coming in a minute will deal with national weather. I'm going to look at the snow that's flying in Colorado. We're going to look at the tornado outbreak that hit the United States today with hail 2 to 4 inches in diameter, tree damage, and large, not small, large tornadoes on the ground tonight. I'll have details on that in a second. Do you know what April 5th would be around Brainerd? I know it's not close. Wendell, let me take a look. April 5th is a long, long ways out, so the best we could do is a look at a trend change. Might have time for that in a minute. Hi, Susie. Good to have you on board from Mesa, Arizona. Hope you are doing well. It's going along musically musically. All right, now let's take a look at the forecast on this model. Let's set this puppy into motion, shall we? Check it out. First and foremost, as we go through the next 24 hours, this mess that you see in the Central Plains moves off, and we'll have another round of potentially severe weather in the southeastern United States going through Friday. Notice everywhere from, say, Louisiana, flooding rainfall there, into Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Delta, all of those areas. And the snow finally vacates Colorado after another full day of snow in some areas. And it even snows quite heavily for portions of the high country in Arizona and New Mexico as well. For us, you can see our little weather wiggle moving through. Okay, let's get to the long range forecast. After a quiet stretch of weather for a couple of days to begin next week, and even a chance to warm up before the next wave, here comes wave one. See this little L moving through Montana? That is on Wednesday, and on the 7-day planner, that's when I said everything changes. European model says it does. There'll be a shot of snow possible for the area. But because of the track of this, it looks like it'll be minimal. It'll be a reminder that we aren't done quite yet, even though the calendar says spring. We could still have wintry weather. Now, as we go through, look at what's following on its heels. It's like just an angry dog chasing maybe the mail carrier. I don't know. But at any rate, there's another low that will move through. This one's stronger. The exact path this low takes will dictate the snow potential. Also, see this, what's going on down in the southern plains and the southern United States? That too could impact things in a big way as far as how much moisture is available for the system up north. Wink, wink. All right. But if there's moisture with a low moving through, this one has some potentially heavy snow Thursday and into Friday. See that? But look at how quickly it's out of here. So if that's the path, it's not a big deal, but that's 2 shots of snow in a couple of days. Then a little reprieve. And then here we go again. Another low moving through and out of the Rockies that could spread some snow into the Dakotas for the following weekend as we head into the big weekend, 24th. All right, Paula says, hey, Brooke, good to see you on board. Wendell got a wedding on April 5th. I hear you. Well, congratulations. Susie says, got it. Keep the page going even when she's out. Tried to quit, but guess they all rely on your info. I've used your info before. If you don't know, Susie does a lot of information and puts together. And if you want to throw a link in the comments, if you're interested, Susie, go ahead and do that. But if you're interested in any live musical events in the area, Susie has a neat little page that she keeps everybody informed about what's going on with that. Now, this is the European model. It doesn't go out as far. Let me show you something that's the American model, shall we? This one gets a little wild. So we're going to show you how to button a seatbelt. No, we'll leave that to the airline stewards and stewardesses. Let's go to the American model here. Okay, here we go. All right, are you ready? Okay, we have madness going on this March, and it's all in the Central Plains, and you see the details on that tonight. Snow in the Rocky Mountains. Oh, no, it couldn't get snowier. Now, as this system continues through Friday, look what moves on shore from the southwestern United States near San Diego. That's another low pressure system swinging in. Continuing the snow showers in the southern Rockies. Oh my goodness. Now, there's our little weather wiggle bringing cold air for the weekend ahead. Be ready for that. Have your gloves handy. Jeremy, thank you for the stars. Woohoo! Justin says at this rate we'll be enjoying in winter in July. Pennington County Fair 2024. Yes! With a foot of snow and mud. No, I hope not. That's never happened, right? No, it's never happened. Hi, says Jane from Fertile. Good to see you on board, Jane. All right, check this out. Here's your first taste as we head into the day on Wednesday. Okay, here it is, Wednesday. A little low moving out of Alberta will bring a clipper our way Wednesday and into Thursday morning. So there's a shot of snow according to the American model. And look what's happening down south. This is just a taste, a brief shot of snow. Then there's another one coming out of the northern Rockies. This one could bring some snow, mainly to the south, the way it looks, into the weekend ahead. Then look at another wave, another system out of the Pacific Northwest makes its way through, bringing another dash of snow our way as we go into that holiday weekend. And then look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at the path and the storm systems. This one gets a little wild, and this is so far out. Can it change? Yeah, and it probably will. Look at the size of this puppy, man. That's like a big dog right there. Well, that's a barking dog, and you want to stay away from a barking dog, if you know what I mean. So this system here, showing on the American model a stormier trend. Both models show that. This one goes out a little bit farther. I don't put too much weight into what you're seeing there. And Susie, thanks a lot for sharing your weekly entertainment report. Yes, you can share a link or do a search for that on Facebook if you're interested in live music anywhere in the region. She keeps everybody on top of that. Nancy, hi, good to see you on board as well. Thank you so very much for joining us. So this here American model, as we go out in time, shows one walloper of a big system working its way in with another one on its heels heading up the northeastern coast. All this means is that as we close out the month of March here, do you see that? It looks mighty stormy. And we'll have a few chances at catching up on some moisture levels here in the state, which is absolutely something we need to do. Shay says hi from Perham. Good to see you on board as well. Okay, bonus coverage. I had a question from a friend of mine here that's wondering what's going on for a wedding in April. For that, that's a long ways out, but I got the tools, right? Hutch just digs into the toolbox right here, and let's pull out the toolbox and see what it says. This is a climate model, and it's showing temperatures. Do you want to know the temperatures? Let's look at the storm track first. So let's go ahead and switch this puppy up, and let's have it show us where the storm track's going to be and not the temperatures as we head towards your April 5th date. So this climate model, what's the climate model versus the weather one I showed you? It's a bigger grid. It'll show us more general changes or trends that we're going to see, not specifics about track. I would not follow the exact track of these things as we go through. So here we get through the end of the month. Oh, there's that big system late in the month. There's another one late in the month. There's a little sick in the back of my throat. Okay, now as we get into the month of April, here we go. Notice it's showing fairly quiet conditions for a little while, but cold. This big area of blue is a cold core of air that pushes all the way down into the central plains. And it does look like it'll quiet things off for a brief period. It cuts off the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, if you will. And then here comes the next wave out of the southwestern United States heading into the 4th. You know what? That don't look too bad, but there's a couple weather wiggle chances as we head in between the 4th and the 7th. So we can't completely rule out an inclement weather event, but maybe with a cold core making its way over, it won't be hot for that April 5th deadline, but that drier air may dry it out for that date. It's a long ways out. That's just a trend, and that's just a look. Brooke, hope you're having a good night. Thanks so very much. Leora, good to see you from St. Hilaire, and we're also seeing someone from Buckeye, Arizona. Hi out there, Deb. Are you expecting some snow up in that area of Arizona? I'm not too familiar with where Buckeye is, but you can share me the information on that momentarily. Now, as promised, a real quick look at the national weather, and then I'll leave you with that unless there's any other fancy, fun questions that makes Hutch's weather fun and interactive. We're going to go with a look at the national radar. I got to load it up here, so I beg your pardon while I do that. Now, the national radar here, we're just going to take a look. Here's the storyline for tonight. In the mountains of Colorado, New Mexico, parts of southern Utah is basically in winter storm conditions. And we have feet of snow that have been reported already up in the Denver metro area and in the foothills off to the west of the Denver metro area. Hutch's old stomping grounds from high school and college. And this whole area right here, severe weather. Hail pounding these areas, anywhere from 1 to 4-inch diameter hail reported, and numerous tornado reports across the central plains, all the way as far north as central and northern Illinois and Ohio, you believe it or not. So this is the active situation that's going on right now. Here's the winter storm warnings in Colorado. Make a quick report here for you and look at snow reports. Oh my goodness. Now, if you just take 1 second and gander at the table that you see on your screen, it shows that Aspen, Colorado, 45.5 inches of snow in Aspen, Colorado. Look at the mountains of Montana. There are no slouches up there just near the Red Lodge area, right? That's where Hutch Johnson learned to ski, was in Red Lodge. I grew up in Billings, Montana as a kid, and Red Lodge picking up 18 inches of snow. Yeehaw! Strap some skis on those feet there, folks. It looks like great skiing weather. And you know what? The mountains of Colorado really need the moisture, and they got it. They got it in a huge way. All of these snow reports that are hard to read, you can't really read them all, but let's take a look at a couple. Number one, in the Denver area, snowfall reports even away from the mountains were as many as 8 inches of snow. Not far. This is Manila Village, Colorado out there. And this is kind of south of the airport. If you're familiar with where the airport is in Denver, here's DIA. And they had 2.3 inches at the airport. But if you go through town and go toward the elevated terrain in the foothills of the Rockies, which lay right here is Golden, Colorado. Hey, they brew some stuff up there, don't they? Look at that, 23 inches in the mountains of Golden, Colorado. That's almost 2 feet by my calculations. And just a farther piece up the road at Genesee, how about 37 inches? Whew, that's some shovel trouble indeed up there. And the fun just continues with 41 inches reported here at Echo Lake. And that is just one wild, wild snowy event that has taken place there. So that's a look at that area. Now I'm going to take a look at what's going on elsewhere on the radar. So let's get right back to that national radar and we'll show you what's going on. Now let's go north to south. We have activity all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, all the way down to Dallas, Fort Worth right now. I'm not going to go over every storm, but these little triangles you see there, I should call them diamonds. The diamonds are hail reports. You see those? We have 1 and 2 inch diameter hail as far north as Columbus, Ohio. And here is a tornado warning in the Utica area. So this storm capable of producing a tornado, it's radar indicated, even in the dark hours. That's really, really rare for such a northern latitude at this late of an hour, this time of the year, to see tornadoes. And we have a couple more tornado warnings out here towards Mechanicsburg and Mutual and Urbana. As we look out there, it's a Doppler indicated tornado. We're not worried about hail with this storm, but that storm also capable of producing a tornado. And Vandalia, all the way down into the Franklin area, Middletown. We have severe thunderstorms there working their way through. Now look at all these tornado icons. Do you see them with the little black triangle in them? South of Findlay, we had a tornado report. This one happened. Law enforcement observed the tornado in that area. And then we had some big ones out there. Here was another one. Wind damage to Winchester. Pictures and videos report suggested it was likely a tornado, but not confirmed. So these are all incoming reports of active weather in the Northland. Akron, Ohio, seeing that just south of Cleveland. Sandusky, a few storms forming there. And here is another tornado warning near the Princeton area as we look down to the south near Mount Carmel. So these storms are now trekking their way through Indiana, the Illinois state line, down there near Evansville, and these are some stout ones. And this long curved shape you see here, that has a solid wall of wind damage potential with it as well. But a couple of these capable of tornadoes. There's an observed tornado on the ground with this particular storm system here, and it's warned for Knox County, and it is a tornado near Lancaster or near Mount Carmel, now moving east at 60 miles per hour is that tornado. Wendy says parents and a whole family are in Indiana. They had pretty bad one this evening, but the family is okay. I'm so glad to hear that, Wendy. And 3-inch hail, that's headache hail, right? That is just nasty. No snow in Buckeye. It's 30 minutes west of Phoenix. Thanks, Deb, for that update. And it says a tornado, Wendy said. Let's see. Yeah, pretty bad one, a tornado. So there's been some bad weather out there, and there's Mount Carmel as we look at that active tornado warning right there. Now, as these storms, as we slide southward just quickly, you can see a few of them starting to form south of Nashville as we get into the elevated terrain there. But look at Little Rock right now. There's been a couple active tornado warnings moving into Little Rock. Hi, folks. If you're watching in the Pine Bluff area, hope you all are doing well. I've got some family out there. Little Rock, though, we have an active tornado warning. Let's take a look at this. A big tornado warning, meaning that this storm is probably moving fairly fast. It's a radar-indicated tornado, 1 1/4 inch diameter hail potential. National Weather Service says, yep, this storm system is moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour, and it's right near the city of Benton, 9 miles northwest of Benton, and it's moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. This is a tornado that is observed by Doppler radar at this particular time is moving toward the Little Rock area at this particular time. So those folks are battening down the hatches literally and getting ready. Look at this, Hot Springs, been there. Hot Springs looking at 2.7-inch diameter hail reports out of those storms as well. So we still have ridiculous hail hitting the southern plains right now. This is Little Rock, Arkansas. These storm systems, as I loop the radar, you can see them basically drifting to the north and to the east. And you can actually kind of watch this storm that's working its way towards Little Rock. And it just kind of shows that it has this like counterclockwise spin in and around those storms. So there's some, well, somebody said ugly. And yes, indeed, there's some ugly weather out in these parts right now. Now, as we go farther south, still look at all these pockets of hail that made their way through Ada, it looks like out there, as we get into the Oklahoma area. And these storms are training. These little narrow lines where storm moves over and another one replaces it, and another one replaces it. So some flooding concerns will be a possibility. And in fact, Fort Smith under a severe, it looks like they're under a flash flood warning now for storms moving through there. That's in the western reaches of Arkansas. As we get down towards Texas, now it looks like the Metroplex there, Dallas, Fort Worth, seeing these storms clear. There was a tornado report not far from McKinney. That looks like it's just right in the Frisco area. How many people in Fargo know where Frisco is? Thanks to our friends, the Bison, who have made regulars out there and a lot of fans too. 3 miles north of Frisco, the police observed the tornado out there near UNT Frisco, University of North Texas, I'm assuming. 1.7-inch hail right there in Frisco. We're all pretty familiar with what's going on down there in Frisco with regards to the area. We've seen our team down there an awful lot. So yeah, and we have a lot of reports in and around Highland Village and the like of 2 to 3-inch diameter hail in those parts as well. All right, that's a look at what's going on across the nation. Moving through North Arkansas, a lot of wet rain out there. Well, there's a permanent trail to Frisco, Paula says, between Fargo and Frisco, both with F's and, well, both fun. But they're getting some wild weather out there tonight across the nation. So that's a quick peek at what's going on. If you want to see a little bit more on this, I've done a couple of videos on my YouTube channel where I've done some coverage on these storms as well. I appreciate your input. I'd love to have you go over there and support my page there by, well, subscribing, clicking the dingle bell, and you'll get notified when I'm doing an update on that on a more national weather type of perspective. And I just love having you like the videos and drop a comment on there too. Let me know your ideas. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful Thursday night. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Again, let me pop up the content right here that I told you I would do. Now, for those of you who do not have a link or you're not in the FM area and you cannot get the Fargo Monthly magazine by walking to the store in your town, here's a link to the online version from my friends at the Fargo Monthly magazine. Has the article on Hutch. I'd love to have you check that out and read it. Let's see that made it. It did. Now, I'm also going to pop up here for those of you interested in the last minute deal from my friends at Robert Gibb & Sons. They are giving away a free water heater if you upgrade to a new Bryant heating and air conditioning system. You do that upgrade, they're going to throw in that water heater for free. So if you have an old system that's been kind of cantankerous, call my friends at Robert Gibb & Sons and please tell them Hutch sent you. Here's the link to that. You can get the latest information right there as well. All right, that's, I think, all I got for you. Unless there's any other questions, I think that does cover it. Thank you all so very, very much for your support. And you have a wonderful night, and we will talk again very soon right here